I got a stick of detonite here that'll take a little
Detonite.
ship out, no problem. Just make sure you stand way back. After the factory roof is no joke, though.
Detonite. It's like explodium.
Up the hill, then walk real careful like across the pipes leading into the factory. Then storm the place, blow up the bog rat ship, and come back. No problem.
Shenanigans back again, and welcome to MMOMG. This month, as per the results of a poll conducted during the end of last month's live streams, I'll be looking at Star Wars: The Old Republic. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if I'll actually be able to cover this game for an entire month, but I'll get to that later on in this video. Let's get to the basics first. Star Wars: The Old Republic, aka SWTOR, is a class-based, two-faction theme park MMO that uses tab target combat. While it borrows a lot of the same principles used in World of Warcraft, I must admit that SWTOR has some notable differences. For starters, the vast majority of missions are delivered via fully voiced cutscenes. Much like the single-player BioWare titles, SWTOR gives you several dialogue options to respond with. The choices presented here can vary quite a bit, and in some cases literally ask you to decide who lives and dies. In the short term, your response often changes mission objectives, which really helps to draw you into the story. In the long term, it affects your character's morality on a light-dark scale, your relationship with NPC companions, and in extreme cases, even entire storylines. Speaking of story, each of the game's classes has a different narrative that reaches all the way to level 50. The amount of story options in SWTOR really helps to make the game feel less linear, at least compared to other MMOs. The delivery was also unmatched for its time when it first came out, though a few other titles have come relatively close since. As I mentioned earlier, you create a character by first choosing one of two factions, either the Sith Empire or the Galactic Republic. From there, you decide on class, race, gender, and appearance. The classes are the same for both factions, but they have different names, depending on which faction. To confuse the issue even more, each base class contains two advanced classes, and those each have 3 disciplines to further define the character's role. It's probably easier if I just give you a quick summary of the advanced classes, so here goes. The Jedi Guardian, or Sith Juggernaut, wears heavy armor and wields a lightsaber. They may specialize in melee DPS or tank. The Jedi Sentinel, or Sith Marauder, wears medium armor and wields dual lightsabers. They focus on melee DPS and can temporarily stealth in combat. The Jedi Shadow, or Sith Assassin, wears light armor and wields a double-bladed lightsaber. They may specialize in melee DPS, tank, or provide support via force abilities. The Jedi Sage, or Sith Sorcerer, wears light armor, wields a lightsaber, but primarily uses force powers. They may provide range DPS or healing. The Scoundrel, or Operative, wears medium armor and wields a blaster. They may specialize in range DPS or healing. The Gunslinger, or Sniper, wears medium armor and wields dual pistols as the Gunslinger or a sniper rifle as the Sniper. They provide range DPS and some support abilities. The Vanguard, or Powertech, wears heavy armor and wields a blaster. They specialize in melee DPS or tanking. The Commando, or Mercenary, wears heavy armor and either wields an assault cannon with grenades as the Commando, or dual guns and a wrist-mounted rocket launcher as the Mercenary. They may specialize in range DPS or provide healing. There's about a dozen playable races available in SWTOR, which frankly is toward the upper limit when it comes to MMORPGs. Still, I can't help but wonder why some races made the cut while others didn't. Of course, with an IP as vast as Star Wars, attempting to please even the majority of fans is a nearly impossible task. Combat consists mostly of targeting an enemy and using your hotbar skills, similar to titles like World of Warcraft. There's a few AoE effects to avoid and a couple strong abilities that you can interrupt, but this is without a doubt a tab target style of combat. The game also provides a way to gain some advantage by using cover, but it feels like a barely there kind of feature that most of the time just gets ignored entirely. While the storylines and mission options are really well done, combat on the whole is fairly boring even for tab target combat. Early on, you gain a companion NPC that can assist you in battle. Companions strip all challenge out of leveling as they keep you healed pretty much indefinitely or provide enough damage to clear anything in your way. While I typically don't cover a title's cash shop until my final video for the month, I really have no choice but to discuss SWTOR's business model right up front because it makes itself known immediately and quite frequently. As a free player, you'll constantly be reminded just how much of a pleb you are for not putting money into this game. Right off the bat, you're restricted to 3 races that have human, cyborg, and Zabrak. Since this is mostly a cosmetic option, I'm not really that bothered by it, but it's worth mentioning in case someone has their heart set on playing a Sith or a Twi'lek. The real hindrances are many, and I'm probably missing quite a few from the following list. So free players have a currency limit of 200,000 credits, with any excess locked away into escrow. There's no storage space other than your own inventory. Only one extra row of inventory space can be unlocked via credits as a free player. A limit of 2 hotbars in a game that suffers from ability bloat. By the way, subscribers get 6 hotbars. No chatting in any channel, including guilds, groups, and whispers. I've discovered that several emotes can be used to convey basic responses like yes, no, and thanks, and it seems that the /E function works at least on a local level. No sending mail, which even includes replying to sent mail or trying to return attached items or credits. A reduction in XP gains starting at level 10, a level cap of 50, and no access to expansion content, though the game will gladly drop bind-on pickup items you can't equip because you haven't purchased that expansion. You're also barred from equipping anything better than blue quality gear. There's weekly limits on all forms of group content, both PvE and PvP, and you're not allowed to post on any of the official forums or gain access to in-game support. Most of these restrictions can be alleviated somewhat by making a la carte purchases and obtaining preferred status, or you can eliminate the hassles entirely by just straight up subscribing at the cost of $15 a month. Look, I realize EA isn't a charity organization, but a full mute on communication for free players is just absurd. As a free player, you might as well be role-playing as a mime. Also, seeing gold spammers every time I enter a major hub just adds insult to injury. It should be noted that SWTOR is the 4th most expensive video game to have ever been developed, at a cost of $200 million as a subscription-only title that went free-to-play less than a year later. I imagine this might be part of why the game is so aggressively monetized, but I'm sure that's not all of it. I mean, as the only MMO based in the Star Wars universe, there's undoubtedly a number of people willing to subscribe based on the property alone. Obviously, that's not enough to compete in the MMO market even in 2012, and competition has only gotten tougher since. Looking at SWTOR's list of restrictions, it closely resembles that of the majority of free-to-play limitations on SOE's games, and we all know how well things turned out for them. What I'm trying to say is that maybe, just maybe, it's time for SWTOR to rethink the monetization structure. At the start of this video, I mentioned that I may not be able to cover this title for an entire month. Upon reaching level 20 on my character, I could no longer play that character without validating my email. So as per the game's instructions, I entered my account email, hit the button, and saw nothing for several days. On a lark, I attempted entering a different email instead, and it validated immediately. I can only guess they were requesting I give them a secondary address, but nowhere did it explicitly ask for that. So hassle after hassle after hassle after hassle. I'm starting to wonder if they actually even want people to play their game. Anyway, assuming I can log in unhindered and this year's hurricanes stop knocking out the internet, I should be able to reach level 50 before the month is over. After only 18 hours or so this past 2 weeks, my Powertech bounty hunter is already level 26. While I could play through the story of another class, or even put some money into the game and see what lies beyond level 50, SWTOR is going to have to prove to me that it's really worth doing that. Next week, I hope to talk a bit about some of the game's group content, crew skills, and whatever else I actually have access to. Join me in-game on the Jedi Covenant server, or watch live Sundays through Wednesdays starting at 9 p.m. Eastern on Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, or Smashcast. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing for more gaming content. Follow me on Twitter to stay updated on everything I post, videos, articles, giveaways, and more. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys. Oh, we have mail. Oh, Shara. Oh, can't help much but enjoy like your stream. Hey, we can reply. Baby. Baby. Can we reply? No! No! Damn it. SWTOR strikes again, that's right.